Hello guys and welcome back. Today we're gonna take a look at Alpha Bear. He was the second Primal Lord that we defeated before the season started. And let's see how his abilities have changed. His ultimate summons a swarm that deals 110% damage per second to each enemy covered in honey for 3 seconds. When all enemy heroes are marked with honey, a Mega Swarm is summoned dealing 200% damage per second till the end of battle. So that's basically the same. So first it scaled with 10 when it comes to the normal swarm, then 20, and then 20 again. When it comes to the mega swarm, it goes from 200 to 240, 280, and then 350. The second ability throws honey at an enemy, marking them until the end of battle, dealing 100% damage. Cooldown 21 seconds. The healing received by the marked enemy is reduced by 50% and cannot be dispelled. The healing reduced is increased by 10%, then 15, and then caps out at 85%. His third ability throws honey at enemies in adjacent tiles, dealing 50% damage and marking them. Smashes the ground when there are no enemies in adjacent tiles, dealing 350 damage to all enemies. So this ability is the same as well. You just downscale the damage a bit. The only thing that scales here is the damage from the slam if there's no enemies next to him. So it increases by 50 and caps out at 500. And his last ability makes impulse a terror ball towards the enemy, dealing 120 damage to all enemies in its path. This is the reason why you want to split up your team a bit. So let's go in and do a couple of attempts. What do you want to do? We're gonna keep the Koko, we're gonna keep the Odie, we're gonna keep the Rowan. Then I'm gonna try with Lucius. Let's see what happens. So in this fight we have a lot of shielding. And we have a lot of damage reduction. And then we have some healing. So we can try and get the HP back up. And now the Smokey and the Lucius is marked. Actually doing decent damage to the boss. Now the Rowan is marked as well. There comes the Terror Ball, but it didn't deal a lot of damage. Koko is now marked as well. And there we have the execution from the Odie. So that's the common 1 difficulty completed. Wasn't too hard. And we get some invite letters and other resources. So we now have the common difficulty 2. Let's just do another attempt and see what our like baseline damage is for this team. The Smokey is marked. The Lucius is marked as well. Got hit by Terror Ball. There it cost another Terror Ball. Seems like going pretty fine so far. We're not dealing a lot of damage, but we might swap out the Rowan for someone else. Now the Koko is marked as well. And the only one that isn't marked is Odie. But we're starting to take a lot of damage. And there comes the Mega Swarm that just kills us.
A bit of experience, a bit of luck.
So that's not too bad. Let's go in again. And let's just see what happens if we remove Smokey. Might be a bad call, but I just want to see what happens. So the Odin Koko isn't marked with honey yet. There the Koko got marked. So we still have one here that isn't marked. But now we're starting to take a lot of damage. Oh wow. So it was a bit less damage. I guess it is because of the smoky improving the damage overall. But let's see what happens if we use Kruger as tank. Hopefully he can survive long enough. Since I don't have him upgraded very much, he might not have enough stats to survive tanking the boss. But if he does, this is a really great combo because he reduces the physical defense on the boss. And he also gave us faction bonus in 4 because we have 4 maulers. But maybe we were able to deal enough damage to make a new PB. Oh, we survived the Mega Swarm once. Oh, that's close to the PB. Let's see what happens when we use the Crescent spell. That's an interesting artifact, but I don't know if it will be enough as like damage on bosses. But I haven't tried it before, so let's see how it goes. We need to get another damage reduction out now, Koko. Come on. Oh, we survived that as well. But here comes the Mega Swarm. It's a new PB.
A bit of experience, a bit of luck.
It was a new PB with like 2 million. Let's see what happens if you just replace the Rowan with the Merrily.
Tough fight.
And I also forgot to swap around a bit. So let's replace the Rowan with Merrily
What a
instead
tough fight.
and see how this goes. Now that we have a Merrily back in the lineup, we might want to swap over to Star Shard spell again. So we get more damage and more haste. But let's see how this attempt goes first. Really hard to heal up the heroes again though, with the healing reduction. And wow, yeah. I mean, we are dealt a decent amount of damage considering how fast everyone died. So maybe with the Star Shard and the haste from it, we will be able to keep up even more. This way we get a bit more HP as well. And Smokey and Merrily is really close to dying right now. Ah, they both died. Oh, now the Kruger died. Another PB with 1 million, but still not a huge difference. So let's go in again, and let's go back to Lucius and see how that goes. Now we won't have any physical reduction to the boss, but the extra shields might help Smokey stay alive longer. So the Smokey can buff our attack and heal us a bit more before he dies, maybe. Okay, Merrily surviving this time. That's really good. But there she died. Hmm. I still need like 6 million now for a PB. Yeah.
My shield is up.
And I think that's it for now. Like something that would have been really nice to try out as well would have been to put in a Corin. In maybe instead of the Merrily. But my Corin is only Legendary Plus. And you need him at Mythic Plus to be really, really good, because that's when he starts dealing true damage. So if you have a Corin, try and put him in instead of the Merrily. Or maybe instead of the OD. Probably not instead of the OD. Because OD is really strong. But it also depends on how lucky you've been. If you got a more Merrily, put in Merrily. If you have OD higher, put in OD. But some must-haves is Koko to get the shields and get the damage reduction. And like you saw me earlier, I even used a Rowan. And he works pretty good as well. But you need to swap around your team and see what works for you. But using this as a base, and you're swapping one out and see what happens, looks kind of good to me. And then you can see like, oh, for example, I have... Who should I bring? I only have CC very high. Okay, so put in the CC and see what happens. You won't get the 3+2 faction bonus, you won't get the 14%. Try it out and see if it works. If it doesn't, you can just make another attempt. Like, you have 20 attempts a day if you use some gold to purchase them as well. But that's the end of this video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.